Us, you know, billing and cooing, he's going to be out of his mind with jealousy.
What good is that?
Oh, you just don't know Adam. See, he just, the only way he will possibly leave me alone is if he thinks I am totally involved with another man.
Erica, I'm not sure I like to be used that way.
Gee, Jeremy, I'm not used to having to convince a man to be attentive to me.
Well, that's the easy part. I'm just not sure that I want to play those games.
Well, what's the difference if we both know it's a game? Anyhow, as a matter of fact, let's be really public about this whole thing. Let's dance to this very romantic number, okay? Jeremy, am I that hard to take?
Yes, I had something rather interesting to tell you. I happened to run into a friend of mine today who is the chairman of the Parole Board.
What about it?
Well, I just happened to mention in passing that one of his parolees was working for my son-in-law. He recognized your name, and he was just wondering how you were doing.
Why are you telling me this?
Because, well, I'm still feeling very guilty about the way I treated you in my home, and I just wanted to do something to make it up.
But you've already apologized.
But today, you see, I found something, well, really more that I could do for you. Mr. Coleman, well, we told him that you were doing a very fine job of running the household and taking care of my little grandson, and that we were really very pleased with you.
Well, that's very nice of you, but I still don't understand why you felt it was necessary to put in a good word for me. I mean, people like you just don't do favors for people like me for nothing, Mr. Cortland.
Well, I wanted to give you a break.
And what do you want from me in return? You are a smooth operator, I'll give you that. But you do want something from me, Mr. Cortland. What is it?
It's working. He's absolutely seething with jealousy.
I no longer think of the physical world. Pleasure and pain have ceased to exist for me.
Again, you have not been tested during your stay with us.
Have faith in your brother. There's not one woman on this earth who could tempt me. Tomorrow, I take my vow of celibacy. Love and physical union of men and women no longer exist for Jeremy Hunter.
I had no idea you were such a terrific dancer. What is it?
Let's finish our drinks.
Okay. My. Look who's here. Are you alone?
Not anymore.
You know that darn June Hagen stood me up again.
Oh, it's terrible. Well, since I'm having dinner alone, why don't you join me?
I'd love to.
Thank you. Miss Kane and her favorite artiste. Looks like they're getting kind of cozy.
I hadn't noticed.
Mr. Chandler, can I get you something?
Scotch?
Fine.
Rocks?
You bet.
2.
I can't believe you just said that. There was a time you noticed everything about Erica Kane.
Well, that's history, Cynthia. I think of Erica as, a person I'm interested in, and that's all. Anything else?
You're cured.
Oh, completely. Upward and onward.
To both of us.
You're speaking about Palmer.
You bet I am. He's history, too.
Whither to next?
I don't know, Adam. Life's an adventure. I suppose once I get over the hurt of losing Palmer, I'll be able to conquer new fields. Thank you.
You speak as though you actually cared for the man.
Silly, isn't it? With all the problems we have. However, I don't want to look backward. I only want to look forward, on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
Perhaps you'd like to give me a few tips on how you did it.
Oh, yes. I'd be happy to discuss it with you.
Mr. Cortland, Dr. Warner told me how you feel about Bobby, that he's not your real grandson.
Yes, it's true that at one time I did resent him, but if Dr. Warner had told you the whole story, you'd understand why.
But you still don't like him all that much, and it just doesn't add up that you're suddenly so concerned about him.
Well, I'm sure my son-in-law has blackened my character, but there is one thing that he cannot deny, and that is my devotion to my daughter. That little boy is as much a part of Nina as if he had been born to her, and there isn't anything I wouldn't do in the interest of that boy's welfare.
I know how much you love your daughter.
Then why do you accuse me of trying to use you?
I'm sorry. It's just that there's nothing that someone like me could do for someone like you. If you want anything, I mean, all you have to do is snap your fingers.
Well, if ever there is anything that I want you to do for me, I'll just ask you.
Okay, I guess that's fair enough.
Good. Well, I'm glad we had this little talk. It has cleared the air somewhat, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Well, I'll say good night then.
Well, good night, Mr. Cortland.
So far, so good.
Wait, Cynthia, I mean, Adam is hitting bedrock, but that's all he can get.
Do you mind?
Oh, of course not. I don't mind anything that you do.
Thank you.
Oh, Jeremy, it's working. It is absolutely working. I mean, did you see Adam's face when we said goodnight to him? How stiff he got and how polite. He's really starting to back off.
You were right.
Well, of course I was right. And you were an angel. You know, you're an absolute angel to go along with me, even though you hated every minute of it.
Well, this is hardly the kind of thing a man would hate.
Well, good. Because this is just the beginning, you know? I mean, now we have to convince Adam that our love is real, that our love is lasting. I'm going to get us some coffee to celebrate.
You have been a man of passion. Have you rid yourself of all of those desires? You have not been tested yet. You have not been tested. Tested.
Here we are. What is it? What's the matter? Didn't you feel well?
Yes, I'm fine. It's just that I've been thinking about this whole thing, Erica, and... Listen, as much as I would like to help you in your crusade to rid yourself of Adam, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Jeremy? Jeremy!
How about this one right here?
That is so cute. Ooh. Start this off the sleeve. She's gonna have a heart attack.
Don't even breathe, sleaze bags.
Well, you would.
Well, so far all you have is disturbing the peace, but if you rip that dress, it's a destruction of private property, which in this town is a 2-year sit at Covington.
Says who?
Who does that hair of yours, sweetheart? It's charming. Sorry, but I don't dance with ugly girls. Yeah, we'll dance like this. Are you all right? It's all right. It's all right, Myrtle. The cops are going to be here in a minute. They just added assault to the charges.
What do you mean, cops?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. I pulled the silent alarm.
You did?
Come on, let's get out of here.
She's lying. Look at her. Fine, suit yourself. But I think the colors up at Covington this season are going to be beige, and they're going to bring out those lovely highlights of yours. Skunk. Right.
Okay, come on. Reefer's gonna pitch a fit if you get us in trouble again.
Yeah, all right. All right. And the nightgown state. Listen, girl. Look, it's Officer O'Leary. Sure is. Yeah. And I'm surprised they sent him, too. Hey, Myrtle, isn't he the one who was suspended last year for shooting that kid in the face?
Yeah. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. Well, I got to admit that's the sweetest con I ever heard. I mean,
that one.
The silent alarm and Officer O'Reilly. I mean, that was icing on the cake. And
What a mess.
yeah, I'll tell you something. I don't think I'm gonna stalk these anymore.
That's advisable. Listen, I gotta go. See you, Myrtle.
Well, Robin, I gotta tell you, you went out on a limb for me.
What are friends for?
It's about running this.
I'm dead serious.
Adam Chandler owns Tempo. You can't print an inflammatory article about him in his own magazine.
Every charge in there can be backed up. You know that.
Well, that's not the point. Listen to this. Although Mr. Chandler has superb instincts when it comes to hiring personnel, he lacks the good sense to let them do their job. Instead, he constantly meddles in areas he has no knowledge or expertise. Why hire creative people if you only let them create what you tell them to? Mr. Chandler undercuts his creative people at every turn.
Well, have you any quarrel with any of that?
Well, as a journalist, no, but as someone who likes his paycheck, yes. Erica, you cannot write things like this about your boss.
And who says I can't? As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to do a lot of good for Adam. I think it's going to make him finally wake up and realize what a destructive influence he has been on all of his staff.
And I think heads are going to roll if you go with that, including yours and mine.
Show a little character, Dabney. Isn't it true that since I have been here, circulation has almost doubled for Tempo magazine?
Yes.
And isn't it also true that the advertising revenue is just making history here?
Yes, but...
And isn't it true that I have just set all kinds of records here at this magazine?
Yes,
In spite of the fact that you didn't believe in me.
and now I am the first to admit that I was wrong about you. You've done wonders for Tempo, but if you print that...
I want the article to run, Dabney. You can edit it, but I don't want to lose the punch.
It's your decision.
I know. Trust me on this. Come on, trust me on this, and I'll give you a bonus. Yes, Olive. Oh, no. Just what I need. No, that's all right. I'll see her. Yeah, send her in.